are we helping? These are the people whose problem we are trying to solve. As you see, the person on the left, he has a right arm which he can't move, and the woman on the right, she doesn't have both her arms, so she has difficulty in doing some tasks. So the problem we are solving is that these people find it difficult in performing few bimanual tasks independently, and due to their loss, they also have a sense of trauma and inferiority. So we are trying to help them with that. So how is this problem currently being solved? Is that one, humans being the magnificent people they are, they learn to work around it. Um, uh, Other than that, they find help from their friends, family, and kin to do some very complicated and dexterous tasks. Otherwise, for independence, they try to use processes, but considering what exists in the market, they are either cosmetic in nature. That is, they're just for the person to look symmetric. If a person lost an arm, you put an arm similar to that, but it doesn't have any functionality to it, just symmetry. Or else, even if it does have functionality, it would be pretty inefficient. So it would be like spending lakhs of rupees on a product with which at the worst you can do is to peel a banana. Or else, if you're trying to go for a very dexterous processes, then that would involve surgery. And as we know that every surgery has its own component of risk, so we're trying to avoid that. So our solution is to bring a non-invasive and functional hand prosthesis for amputees, and also for people who have paralysis or require rehabilitation, we are trying to create exoskeletal supports. So currently, the work we are doing is with these people in consideration. So we are trying to focus on students or urban professionals who lost their arm, because why them specifically is because they don't really have a lot of dexterous and heavy weightlifting to do like a farmer or so, but they do have very simple tasks to do. So we are focusing on them, that first. And in case of people with paralysis, we're trying to focus on those with either temporary or a partial paralysis, where
After talking to several amputees and asking them about their experiences with the current available solutions in the market, we found that there is a need to improve upon the design of wrist and the thumb from our model. For the wrist, we are redesigning it to accommodate two axes of rotation to bring in more degrees of freedom. And for the thumb, we are planning to modify the model such that it approximates the movement of the corpo-metacarpal joint of the human thumb. Here, two axes of rotation are added, which can be seen in the video. This access adds two new degrees of freedom for the model, which adds on to its functionality.
The thumb carpo-metacarpal joint, on the other hand, being the most complex joint in human hand, needed some more analysis and to approximate its motion while also ensuring our goal of achieving a wide variety of grasps. In this process, we started working on a digital representation of the hand that would allow us to analyze what grasp positions our design is capable of achieving. The human hand being quite dexterous, it consists of many variables to control, as there are many joints which need to bend at different angles. In order to aid us in this analysis and also to estimate the joint angles, we made a URDF file and visualized it in RViz. The slider bars in the window show the various joint angles and their magnitudes. Moving on, we see how we have achieved different grasp positions using these predefined grasp positions. Next, for our future goals, we are planning to design the thumb joint in accordance with the previously seen design and also 3D print the entire model and test it with various grasp positions. Further down the line, we wish to make the grasps in an adaptive in manner, and it need not be a predefined one. So in this process we would need a simulation of the prototype in the in a software such as Gazebo, and we would then be implementing reinforcement learning techniques for object picking and reorienting them in hand.
Our prosthetics are able to accommodate three types of grasps, namely the power grasp, the pinch grasp, and the lateral grasp. The power grasp is used by us when we are to hold something which is of cylindrical shape, or when you want to move something of cylindrical shape. We use the pinch grasp to hold something which is tiny or which is of very less weight, or you want to screw or unscrew something. We use the lateral grasp when you want to carry an object which is of which is flat, like a plate, like a tablet or a PC, uh, laptop. So these are the graphs which comprise most of the activities done by us. So yeah, our prosthetics accommodate them. And the sensors which we use are the electromyography sensors, which amplify the signals between the muscles. And we have three sets of sensors: one for the thumb, one for middle and the index finger, and one for the ring and pinky finger.
So what we are doing over here is a power grasp, and with which we hold objects like a tumbler or a bottle or some big objects. So we see different kind of patterns in the signals. So red corresponds to, and over here what we are doing is a snap basically. It's just for gesture recognition which we're trying to do, and we see that the structure of the wave itself is pretty different over here. Now what we are doing is a pinch grasp with which we hold very small objects with precision. It's also called precision grasp, with which we hold objects like an eraser or a small a pearl or something like that. And what we're seeing now is a lateral grasp with which we hold flat objects like our mobile phone, like a notebook. We can't hold a notebook with our power grasp or any other grasp. So this would be lateral grasp with which we hold, flat objects, remote, notebook, mobile phone, etc. So we see different kind of patterns corresponding to that.
So some interesting features for the next prototype are adding in non-sticky electrodes for the EMG sensors, so that we reduce the irritability and improve the reusability of the sensors, and to have a sensor array around the arm to improve the individual finger control, to add a biaxial wrist movement so that the total degrees of freedom of the arm is increased, and much more actions are doable using the prosthetics. And finally, having a robust algorithm for grasp recognition from sensor data so that the grasp mechanism is in sync with the sensor input.